all Vincentians today should not limit themselves just to be citizens of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They are now citizens of the world. They must have a global view of life. They must not be hemmed in, narrowed, or restricted to the 150 square miles because Friday, Leacock, Cummins, whoever, Gonzales, Warsaw, and others say so. They are citizens of the free world. They can be and must be what they want to be. Again, my family may get annoyed with me. I'm called Major St. Clair Leacock because I rose to the ranks of the cadet force and did military service and got where I am. I have a son who has just been promoted to the rank of Major in the Marine Corps of the United States of America. The world's finest fighting force. He's there defending the Constitution of the great United States of America. At the rank of Major, he's gone past his father. If he was in St. Vincent, the police force, he might be a sergeant if he was so lucky, if he got past corporal. But the world is the oyster, let them fly. Let our young people be what they can be. And they will not be what they can be if we restrict ourselves only to the taxation on the backs of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This domestic economy is not strong enough to generate jobs and opportunity and feed the mouths of the 100,000 Vincentians who wants to be fed. I want to repeat that. The domestic economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is not now and would not be in the future be strong enough if it is solely dependent on the tax revenue that comes from the domestic economy. We would have to be dependent on the external community. We have to be global. And global means we have to be export-oriented. We have to depend on the markets on the eastern seaboard of the United States of America and on Canada, the United States, and all of the Caribbean. And we have to be open to foreign direct investments to come in here, to build new hotels, build new plants, create new jobs and opportunities for our people. And the CBI, Citizen by Investment Program, does exactly that. It means more work for our artisans, our masons, our carpenters, our laborers, our handymen, our steel benders. It means more work for our supermarkets who have to provide food to feed those people who are on the job sites. It means more opportunities for our professionals, our doctors, our lawyers, our accountants, our engineers, our sociologists, our psychologists. It means more work for our security forces. Dominica uses it as part of the budget support system. I'm not saying St. Vincent should do that. In fact, I don't advocate it. In that they put it into their recurrent budget. So they get $406 million this year to make Dominica a better place. As a consequence, Dominica is registering a 9% growth rate. St. Vincent is struggling to represent 2.1. That's what it's saying. Put another way, if Dominica had a 9-inch cake, this year they're going up to a 12-inch cake, and the next year it'll be a 15-inch cake. It means that more people who didn't get a slice of the cake will get a slice. And some people who are getting slices will get bigger slices. In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the cake has remained in the same place for a long time. And with only the same people getting a slice of the cake. It can't happen. You can't have a better St. Vincent and the Grenadines that way. Hence the crime and violence that we have. Antigua, Dominica, St. Lucia, they're all benefiting from citizen by investment programs. I listened to a radio program this morning, and he's quite right. But you must pick sense out of nonsense. One of the guys, well-meaning, Mario, from Trinidad, he said when he fly over Grenada, he has a different vibe. He said, you know what? Years ago, we used to think of Grenada as a laughing stock. Well, we always know that in a sense. And I don't want a little petty boy, but people always had a feeling that a little better than we in the big islands, whether it's from Jamaica, whether it's from Trinidad and so forth. Even when I went to Trinidad years ago, donkey years ago to do military training, they asked me if we ever see a rifle. Bernard John, myself, and Starkey, we beat them in the course and we went to study. Starkey came out as an ace crack shot. You have to talk all these things. But that's how he said. But he says, no, when you fly over Grenada, it's the Dubai. The Dubai of the Caribbean. You know what's Dubai? Dubai is one of those Far East places where when you're going to see a wash basin and a toilet bowl, I mean, it's like gold. The streets are like if they're paved of gold. Even America don't look so. And that's how Grenada has moved away from St. Vincent. Why they moved away? Because they have people who can run the country, programs to run the country, pragmatism to run the country, principle to run the country, and it's open for all Grenadians.
And Major, I want to, on that same point that you're making, they was talking about their tourism, and I just want to say, I couldn't get in. Grenada, in 2 years ago, had 15 5-star hotels built out of the Citizen by Investment Program. Their tourism ain't come by luck and chance. We're struggling to build one by loans. They had 15.
Yeah.
This is instructive as we move along.
And about the truth be told, all those hangers on, all those yes butters and critics of the New Democratic Party, you have become nowhere near the fiscal management that Arnie Mitchell was able to run this country. If I look at the last audited report of St. Vincent and Grenadines, and I have it by way of questions, between 2007 and 2011, this government fell short between what they said they will raise in the budget and what they will spend, by $644,835,194.59. Over $500 million that they said they would raise wasn't realized. Full inventions with paper and impression. Underspending the budget every year and doing a lot of nonsense in St. Vincent that Vincent is sitting down and allow him to get away with. I just asked a question in Parliament. Since 2015 we had elections. For 2016, 17, 18 and 18, 3 years. Spending money by special warrant. Not one has come to the Parliament for approval. And I'll bet my bottom dollar that over $5 million have been paid out in wages to Astafan and Mendes and company on this petition matter, which could have easily given a 2% increase in salaries to the public servant. Just that alone. But you can find money where you want to find it, from where you want to find it. But you can't bring it to expose it to show the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines. But you could run, but you can't hide. You run, but you can't hide. We're not afraid of you in the New Democratic Party. We're not backing off from you in the New Democratic Party. And this is just nonsense that people figure that NDP ain't ready. We're ready. We applied for the job. We are at their door. We're knocking. Give us the job, please. Hand over the keys. Let us turn St. Vincent up. Let's turn it up. Let us show you St. Vincent can be run from a different direction. That we don't wait for the crumbs to come from the top and reach down. Let us start at the bottom and let's turn it over. That's what Grenada is saying. Put money in the hands of the order working people and the money will spend.
And we'll come back.
They'll go to the supermarkets, the village shops will open. The stores will sell, the vans will have work to do. You ever see St. Vincent how it runs? When school goes on holidays, like if the whole country on holidays, vans park up. There's no business to even run the van.
There's nothing
to do. That's how St. Vincent runs. There's no life in St. Vincent beyond the 5 miles radius from Kingston to Buckingham, not even Leacock. Even Aga, the pass from here, Waterloo from the airport is out there. Not even a taxi and stand and stops.
Nothing.
Not even a shuttle from Kingston that could say, well, look, we have an airport. If I go down by Ace, I could get a van to drop me out by the Aga. It's not even that brisk in business to do.
And something you mentioned there, and I'm going to put a time limit to it also. Basically, economic activities in a lot of these other islands, because of their tourism development, bloom after 4 o'clock. Our economy basically
we closed down
except for the little bread and the little sugar. We closed down.
We closed down.
That's it,
That's how we are.
We shut down after.
We need to get away from this notion that we're living in milk and honey and we didn't want this. We're not doing well. We can do much better than we're doing. But that doesn't negate the fact that we are able to offer our public service more. We can do it by a better managed public service, by more efficiency with the money we have, and a reprioritization of the money that we spend on our capital programs. We can't even spend the free money that we get for grant funds from the European Union. Not even that we can spend. We don't even have the capacity for that. We're not even creating the fiscal space that they themselves talk about in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And all we're moving is closer and closer to being the hands and debts and throes of the International Monetary Fund. And that's basically what we've tried to do. Impose, self-impose, like you used to take NDP, or the woman you take before somebody gave us. That's what we're happening. So I don't understand what the New Democratic Party doesn't have a narrative. Look on my side. The people have given me a clear call. There's an altar call for me to run for 5th time. This candy man is speaking to you. Oh, I have Saboto over here, but here's my political son, and I have Camel over here. He's my biological son, and I can't say which one I love more than. Give me a break. Give us a break, Ralph. And if Saboto wants to dignify you and disrespect his parents, and I call him my family too because I have good relations with his family, I'll be the last one of them. But not standing up to be counted, that's to his own detriment. He can do better. He can do better. And they need to look you in the eyes and say what you're offering and what you're doing to our people is not satisfactory. And so, but, I would end the break on this note, When I hear that, for example, someone for whom I have great respect, one of my former students, who did a great job at the grammar school as a principal, who is an outstanding community leader, a good historian, a decent person, because I would not speak to him other than his decency, because I think that's how I see Curtis King. Curtis, you can't end the week. You cannot end the week that Greece is having a vote of no confidence. You can't end the week when West Guyana is having a vote of no confidence. You can't end the week or the month in which St. Kitts is having a vote of no confidence. You can't end the week in which Maduro is being sidelined by the Lima states for undemocratic practices. You can't in the week when Grenada is offering 4% increase. You can't in a week in which your teacher union is being slammed. Your public service union is being slammed. And when you see autocratic and anti-democratic practices taking place. You can't in a week when even Joe Thomas has said the economy is going nowhere and poverty is 30%, saying you're putting yourself on a bandwagon for the Union Labour Party. You can't do that. Don't do that to yourself. You're better than that. Yes, you want to live and you have to eat a bread like anybody else, and they will get back to you that I said so. But even you have to be independent. Because I went to you, I came to you. I offered you to be a member of the New Democratic Party. But alas, that's what Vincent have to look at. Look at the people in the New Democratic Party. All of us could jump and wave on the other side, I could do otherwise than being on the radio program this morning. I could be comfortable enough to live now. I could live now comfortably without it. If I get out of politics, I'm sure I'll spend less than $100,000 a year just not being in politics. It'll cost me $100,000 less than a year not to be in politics. Easily. But come here and rub shoulders to your people who are in the struggle. You've been there all the time. And let us call wrong, wrong, and right, right. And let us look at the savings that we have and say, yes, we can do it differently. We can put more people to work. Let us look at our programs. Let us say, yes, the meritocratic system that NDP talks about is correct. Let us say collective bargaining is correct. Let us say the existence of trade unions is correct. Let us say there's too much crime and violence. Let us say we must look at our women and children. Let us say there must be better programs for our elderly. Let us say we can better manage our economy. Let us say no to dictatorship. Let us say yes to the Democratic Party. But we take a break. And then we take the question unless you want to take one or two before we go to the break.
No, I'm going to take the break and then we come back. 12 minutes after 12 o'clock. And yes, we're going to give you the opportunity. We're going to go to the lines while we chit and chat with the Major this morning. Thanks for those persons with all your reviews. They say we need to call in the fire truck. We'll see how that goes. Let's go to the lines. Good afternoon, your times.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, your times. You're live.
Yes, sir. I just want to share something with
I'm not hearing what. Give me some.
I'm not hearing the person. I said.
Yeah, I just want to share something with Mr. Leacock.
I barely hearing you though.
So you want to share something or share something?
Okay, go ahead.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, the government is offering active workers a 1% on their salaries. But if you're supposed to collect your NIS at age 62, and when you're 60, you find it, after you've retired, difficult, and you have to take it before 62, you are charged at 6%. on each year that you have to wait. So by the time you're 62, you have to pay 12%.
Yeah, I know
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
I'm aware of that, yes. As a matter of fact, I was speaking, and I'm sure you don't mind me saying that a discussion of that nature. I was in the Kingston Park block last Friday evening, part of my Friday evening blocks line, and Pincham was saying that he is one of those who took a 12% cut to go all. I tell him that's a mistake. That's too much a discount they should take, you know. But some people say, well, give it now, become in if we can live later.
Okay,
but I don't support that.
I want to take the call, but I want to come back to that because I know of several persons who have been doing that. So you need to probably.
Yeah.
A lot of persons have been doing that, Major. So if you personally think it, I think we need to speak to it to some extent.
Not now on this program, but we'll do
right,
it. Yeah, but it's not advisable.
Good afternoon. It times.
Yeah, good afternoon, Bo. Good afternoon, Major. How are you, man?
Good afternoon to you, Paul.
And I was actually sitting down here listening to Major this morning, and I think that he breaks some barriers in the sense that know where we come from as ghetto children. And a man trying to belittle you by calling you for somebody who worked hard, who helped build the nation and this country, who helped create things that the average man who feel that he right now couldn't do. And I want to tell you that I was all damn proud of you. I remember one day when you get married, it was like a ghetto people kind of express because I was to the place of grammar school where the wedding keep up just because, you know, Major, where we come from, it start elevating.
It was a military wedding.
Right, start elevating themselves. And I never tell you this, but I was there and a lot of my friends was there. We used to still look up to you. You know, I mean, I learn a lot from you all. I'm very outspoken, and you can see that. If I want to see something, I say it, but I'm very open. Now, one thing that touched me this morning when you speak, when you look at the people who actually could make the contribution to this country, like the Roy Aston, the Sinclair Leacock, the Kenneth John, the Michael Denny, the Leonardo Garrow. You look at the people who can make the contribution to this country to the other level. And you look at the people who they are now. And you look at the people who...
Well, the Roy Austins are far ahead of me, eh? Let me see that. Yeah, but and he was a sergeant major too, but they're trailblazers. If I could reach their heights, then I would have done well.
No, but I think you
an ambassador too.
Major, I think he's getting there. Anybody who listens to your presentation this morning will feel proud of you. Because what you're leaving behind here now, when your wife could tell you, man, when are you going to talk again for? I had the same problem my wife do, where the female, I put myself in a position for people beating me up. But one thing I love, Major, I love my country. I remember when I used to go play football for my country and we lose. I couldn't go out and party and have fun. None of it.
But that's where it starts. That's where the national pride begins, Paul.
Beautiful. So, to me, when a person...
We have defended the nation.
Beautiful. When a person like you express yourself to the nastiness and the worthlessness you see happening in this country and know where you should have been, and to see the kind of people... You look at the people who we call them rich. It ain't the work for the money. It's like the money comes from some two shooter. You see, they have this, they have that. This is why when that support element gone, most of them have to sell out everything. You look at the NDP time when those young people who actually call rich, you can see they were rich because you can see where the wealth come from, how they develop themselves, because the system was preparing situation for you to invest in money and get return from your money. But now these days, this way the country like that, everybody wants to take from the country. Nobody wants to put back. And when you sit back, Major, and listen to you this morning, and you express this, it touched me. You know it touched me? Because I can't sit down and no, I getting money from a government where I ain't working for. But just because this is my side. Come on, I love my country. Look at Grenada, look at Dominica, look at all these countries that going somewhere. It's because of the love of the country. I'm taking this incident. Look, them cause is supposed to be family, because it's king. My grandfather from my father, it's from kind of one. I'm a king. And when you look at, you tell me a historian, and you see the nastiness this government doing, and you're going to join them and telling me you join them because you have eat? Brother, you show me that.
Nonsense.
Major, they're slaves.
Nonsense. You compromised everything you stood for.
Yes, because, brother,
Let me tell you something, you know. Straight, big and simple, you know. About sacrifice. I could be anything I wanted to be in the regime of the day today, you know.
True.
I understand here and take the nonsense that I take about.
But because one thing that...
But I say, you see me, let me die with my principle.
Yeah, but
you understand? And that's why I can't deal with bonds them, you know. Nobody ain't getting me to do them kind of stupidness. The day I can't handle it with the New Democratic Party, I go on and I keep my peace. Done with that.
As we get to people, you come from the bowels.
Jumping all over the place.
You're supposed to compromise yourself. Your person don't compromise yourself for you. My parents don't compromise themselves for me. Why should I compromise myself for my children and put all that love and nurture to put to me to be who I am today? To use that as somebody's footstool to walk on me and feel that I am nobody because I come from bottom town?
All right, Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, bye-bye.
But
thanks.
I'm prepared, but...
Have somebody holding. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Your Times.
Yeah, good afternoon, boss, and good afternoon, the Major.
Mr. Ambassador.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
I'm good.
You reached me this morning, man.
Yeah, giving you guys in the diaspora more responsibility. You got to talk to your people at home. You see, you and I, we can make this difference. If you set to work and get your people going, we will win this election.
You really reached me, and I always say, if anybody who, as we could count as we have not in St. Vincent, look for an example of a man who parents walk and could look upon, a man who make an investment in education that pays dividends, look no further than the nation.
Let me tell you something. When I leave the student, I go over there and just now home there. My mother is 97 years old. She's in an apartment over by me there where I'm looking after. This Dorset where I live in at. When I was going to prep school at one time, my father's paying the arse with my mother. And she get a couple basket and walk all. We live in the Montrose, you know. Come all through the village here to sell fish, you know, to mine way, you know. You understand what I mean? And reach back home in the evening to watch the one Terlin shot and the underpants had to go to school the next day. My house is my mother's house. Everything I have belongs to my mother and my father. Every single last damn thing. You understand?
Major, your mother was a mother to a lot of Methodist school children, you know. I'm telling you.
I better believe that. My mother spent ice cream when the ice cream was 10 cents and donate the whole proceeds to prep school in the boat.
I get fried.
When they have fair, you know. Tell me about my family.
Your mother will give up.
They come and tell me about St. Vince running and jumping in front.
You have nothing. You have nothing to bow your head.
But the truth of the matter, Ambassador, I mean, maybe I'm talking too much. Camilo is in no position to run St. Vincent. He doesn't have enough an economic, macroeconomic background to run St. Vincent. So Ralph contemplating of handing over his son for more of the same, because you're eloquent in words and you have some privileged position in society. They don't know anything about the struggling and the historical background this country run this country to turn it around. They don't have the empathy. They don't feel it in the belly. They don't feel it in the belly. They don't know what it's like to push a cat. They don't know what it's like to type a sheep or a goat.
Major, they don't know
what it's like to take a newspaper and beat down the cockroach when they come up in the latrine outside to go down and sit down on the toilet bowl. They don't know about them things.
They don't know. Major, and this is the salient point in the argument that you're making this morning. And I want every Vincentian from Chateau to North Windward to hear this. No, if you're looking in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, any man who could join with this ULP here,
at this time,
you're doing a disservice to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because what you're doing is pushing our people further into poverty. That is what you're doing. You're fertilizing this exploitation of our young people for a job in this country. It should not be so. And anybody who could tell me, as you mentioned a name earlier on this morning, Major, and you say that you question that brother. If this brother right now, because this card now become old and wrinkled, all the people of West St. George need to ask themselves, why are you removing this card out the pack? Because he gets old. And he has failed. Sesmaki failure is not just Sesmaki failure. The failure of Sesmaki is the failure of the ULP.
Of course.
And there is nothing, any new card pack could come into this pack to convince you that he will be better. Because if Sesmaki cannot convince Ralph Gonsalves that he will make a difference in the people of West St. George life, why you think this new card? What this card is going to do? It's just going to fool you a little more. Because when a 3-card Monty put some new cards in the pack, it's harder for you to identify. And by the time you get to identify the card, to find the mark on it, you already lost your life. You already lost your liberty. And the young people in St. Vincent need to take this into question. When you go out there and you come back home in St. Vincent, instead of you meet an economy that could offer you hope, you go on a yes program, welfare check. But in the process of you being on that welfare check program, look in the mirror. Your productive year is gone. All the hair on your head become gray.
But I listen to a guy calling to a radio program, Ambassador, and he says, you know, when they come in government, where they gonna find money from for get people road work? I mean, that's what Ralph has reduced us to. That all his ambition is that NDP wouldn't have enough money to provide road work.
Provide road work. This is a government who calling our people lazy.
You know?
Lazy because they are the one who make you lazy. We were never dependent people. We never depend on nobody. The reason why we gain independence is because we want to decide our own destiny. When you decide your own destiny, which means that we are willing to roll up our sleeves and work for it.
Man, it's just saying what happens here. You look at some of the young ladies down the road with a cutlass and a hoe and a gang. There could be anything to anybody in any part of the world. But they have to swallow the pride so that they could keep their dignity and take what they can get. There could be anything. After 5, 7, 8, 10 years of education, that's what you could do for them?
Yeah, that is what happened with engineered poverty, so that he could get our people like voting cattle. This thing was orchestrated, Vincentian. It's a part of their oligarchic system and how they set it up.
Well, we need a new approach. We need a new approach.
I'm going now, boss.
Yeah, have somebody holding. Thanks.
Big should be your example.
Yeah.
Big should be your example. Look at how many people, if they did empower Bigger Bill, how much people that he could have put, he could have employed in this than he could have done. And stop you from running up the stairs of any parliamentarian building to be abused.
Beg nobody. Beg
Have
nobody.
a good day, my brother.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Let's take a fresh guard here.
Yeah, somebody mentioned a big thing and see that situation escalating again. We have to take a look. Thanks for holding. Are you there, Stella? Yes, hello?
Yes, this NIS situation, I don't think enough people are paying attention to it because, one, a lot of persons will not be able to wait for the age that they're supposed to collect their pension. They will take it before, and a lot of persons are dying young. So it looks like a big rip-off, but it's a serious thing that people need to do.
Mr. Eustace will address it.
All right, bye-bye.
I'll get Mr. Eustace to address it. He's our pension specialist.
And even if it's in an advisory capacity, I think, because as I said, there are a lot of persons who taking the cut and taking it because they say they can't wait, they can't survive until. So I don't know.
It's too big a cut.
All right. 784-456-5967, 718-734-5615 to be in on the program. You're saying it's too big a cut?
It's too big a cut for them to take. Because at 60, the average thing life now of people is, I think it's around 75, 77. So it's to take a 12% cut now for the next, and some people could do 8 years comfortably, you know. To take a cut now of 20 or 12%, 240% loss is a lot, and you know I don't recommend it.
I think people are looking at it now,
and there are ways they can bridge it. So what people need to be taught of how they can bridge for those 2 years. So they need to get some advice and financial advice as to how they deal with those situations, you know, for the retirement years.
Yeah.
When in the bigger company, they spend money and do that. No, we do that when I was in Vin, like to teach people how to prepare for the retirement.
But you have always touched on in terms of the way we look after our elderly. And
that's critical, boy.
And a lot of these persons, I'm going to deliberately use Pincham, was make tremendous contribution to St. Vincent in his field. And now he has retired basically on his own, if I could put it that way, and then making these decisions.
The hand to mouth.
Yeah. I think.
You see, but all those things have other fundamentals involved in it, you know. I mean, a part of the thing about people when they want to offer themselves to public service is the narrowness in which they see St. Vincent and its development. And a lot of ways we approach development in the West is significantly different for those people in the East. In Japan and in Korea and Taiwan and in mainland China and in other places, they have an completely different development approaches. We tend to have this where we discard the experience of our elderly. You know, those other countries harness it and make sure they find ways to integrate them into the society and development. And we have to do more for elderly. You know, look how much talent is wasted in our societies. Go ahead, let's take the call.
Good afternoon, Your Times.
Good afternoon, Bert. Good afternoon, Mr. Leacock.
Good afternoon to you too.
Good afternoon. Is this Rassover?
This is Rassover.
My friend who was kept off the national team by Gailo and Binkans, yes.
Don't go down that road, Mr. Leacock, okay? More important things to talk about.
No, that's important to me. You can't tell me what's important to me.
Look.
And the fish market. Yes. Oh, let's get serious now, yes.
Yeah, I love your approach today in bringing out a lot of points to do with things, with issues, real issues that affect the social conditions of our people, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I commend you. I commend Paul, always making some very important contributions.
Yeah.
But I'd like to take a reference with some of the names that Paul has called, right? Roy Austin taught me in school. I know him well.
Yeah.
Dr.
John?
I know him well.
Kenneth John. You know well now, eh?
John, I know all these people. But listen to this, Mr. Leacock.
Mm-hmm.
I spend a lot of time down in that area, in Lower Bottom Town, close to where the Baysdons live, right?
Yeah, right down the end there.
And I'd like to challenge Paul to tell me what him or all those names you've called suggested or ever thought about doing something or making an issue of that. We have kids, babies, young kids, living in gutter-infested water. I mean, have you ever been down there, Mr. Leacock?
Many times.
And Daniel spoke
Mr.
to
Leacock.
Many times. As a matter of fact, I was down there up to the last big cleanup that they had. I been through the walk through the Daniel sat down in there.
Would you or the Prime Minister or the leader of the opposition, would you all take your families down there to use those toilet facilities just in an emergency? Would you?
Oba, back up a little bit because you can't test me and those kind of things.
I ain't trying to test you, man. I ain't trying to test
So it's not fair to lay the blame for that or to measure.
Any blame? I'm just asking a question.
Paul cited Roy Austin, Kenneth John, and who was the other name we called?
Dr. Denny.
Well, Denny is of more recent time. I don't even know if we should call Denny in the same breath that we call Austin.
You know why I call it?
Yeah.
Because I spoke to him up to a week ago when he was there and asked him the same question.
Denny?
Denny, he was there the other day.
I know we had the funeral recently. Let's both not speak over each other. Let's have a conversation. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm saying, I spoke to Dr. Denny when he was in that region, but 2 weeks ago. He says, Oba, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, but Dr. Denny, you could do what Oba can't. You could raise this at certain levels that Oba don't have that access for whatever reason. You could
raise what?
The issue of the social conditions of a sector of the population.
And it hasn't been raised repeatedly by Daniel Cummins or the MP for the need to take the people out of the basin and to replace them. I've walked through that constituency with Daniel over into that same area where the basins were down in the corner there.
Yeah.
Okay? And I know Daniel has raised that repeatedly in the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and made representation for repositioning those people. So it is to the disgrace of the regime of the day now, because John Horn did make some improvement. I know we had work plans for the development of their new housing positions and to change the whole situation of West Kingstown. But we need to be put into the corridors of power to do those things.
Mr. Leacock.
Hold on, because even now, up to yesterday, I was in a meeting, and even the opposition, Daniel is preparing a major project to put down steps of a significant amount of him are part of his constituency, which is clearly outside of his work of an opposition member. That's the responsibility for a government leader. I am contemplating right now in the Lago Heights area where after 15 years the government have not been able to do some river crossings. Whether I can go and beg a contract to come and work with me to see if they could put on bridge and river cross, the people could go across the river. There's so many basic things that people could do that could be improved. I asked that question about those storage facilities in the Parliament this year, 2018. When you look at some of the toilets, right, the one by Page Fair up there, for example, you know, it's ridiculous. Even the one down the bridge down here at Bottom Town, well, that one is not too bad because I drop in there every now and then. You go across the round, you go in there to use the urinal and so forth.
And I know of what you're talking.
You know, but the abject poverty of some people needs to be addressed in a different way to what we are talking. But you can't use that as a measure to take away from the heights that people like Roy Austin meet. I went to Roy Austin when you were the ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago. Hold on. That you don't know what they've done to try to change the circumstances of those people. So you can't hold their hand to the fire for that.
Look, Mr. Leacock.
Yes, please, Oba.
With all due respect,
yes.
Right? I wish I could get real raw with you, but I would say this.
Well, then you can come in the studio anytime.
Mr. Leacock, you're either part of the problem or part of the solution. And I feel that I'm part of the problem that exists down there.
You're part of the problem or the solution?
I'm not talking about raising nothing. I'm talking about changing it.
Well,
Turning it around.
Well, instead of letting the blood pressure go up, let us say what have you done and what should we do to change the condition down there tomorrow? What can we do tomorrow?
What can we do tomorrow?
Yes.
I think you could organize a social visit with whoever and the media, and let's start from there.
But we did that already. We did that already. As a matter of fact, Luzette King did a complete program on that situation.
Good.
On a Saturday morning on this radio station, and she had people like Gailo come in and give his views, and as they were giving their views, you had my boy there,
Monty.
Not Monty, the guy who runs the shop down there, my good friend there. Mark, coming on and giving an opposite position. In other words, immediately they politicize the whole social justice development issue from one of red versus yellow. Right?
Mr. Leacock.
The water doesn't even flow down in the area down the board.
I know, I saw the...
And when you look... No, you're asking me because I'm talking about things, and when you look at the correction that they've made now for the bypass to the cemetery...
Hold.
You... Oba, go ahead.
I'm aware of what you're saying, Mr. Leacock.
Yes.
All I could say, my humble opinion, let's try that one more time in the near future.
Well, we would.
Let's try that one more time.
Well, we would.
In the future.
Would you be a part of it? We would.
I'll be a part of it any day.
Good, thank you.
I lived in that area for over 50 years.
Well, we'll take you. Oba will take you up on it. Oba, I'll take you up on it.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's what we could do.
To be continued. We'll take you up on it. Daniel, myself, yourself, and a small committee.
And I would like to wish to you and all.
Because Patches Knights is always bringing that to the attention of the New Democratic Party and championing that.
I'm not looking to take nobody's thunder here. I'm just saying enough is enough.
Well, we'll revisit it with you, Oba. Thank you.
I'd like to say happy every day for the rest of your lives for everyone that is in earshot of this.
We have a country to build.
Not for New Year's, not for Christmas, for the rest of your entire life.
We have a country to build, Oba.
Yeah, have a blessed day.
Okay, all the rest.
Yeah.
Okay,
you know, sometimes people feel because we're in politics, we take this lightly. There's almost a day that doesn't pass, for example, but when it's on my early morning walk, I wouldn't go to the North River Road, sorry, and look at the work that's taking place there with the Gabion baskets that they're putting down there. The progress they're making and the issues. They figure we don't pay attention to the fact that you take the bypass water off of the Cemetery Hill and you take it through the cemetery and take it down the same base, what the consequence. These are things we study and we talk about, but we're not in government. That's why we say we're applying for the job. Our eyes are wide open. Daniel's an engineer. And he's well seized of it.
Definitely. I have a question here. I don't know. I say, good day, Barton Major. My ID card expires in the next couple of months. Do I have to go to the registration center or can I go to the electoral office?
Go to the center. I recommend you go to the center.
And the other piece, please let people know that ID cards had an expiry date.
I heard that before, and it's a good thing to people. need to pay attention to the expiry date in the card and go to the centers nearest them. Get your children to go out and get registered because this is the time. It's beginning to get a little busier now as the election is nearing. We see the language is changing. Go and get your ID cards in place. Incidentally, today for Central Kingston is at Bishop's College. We are
Today.
this week, yes.
Okay, and I plan to
go through the list.
There. Yes. Somebody, okay. Somebody say, nice program. Major is full of so much knowledge. Keep up the good work.
Let's go to the lines. Thanks for the kind word.
I need to read it in a I don't want to swell your nose too much.
No, I don't have much of a nose now, but not so much about me now.
Okay, that's why. Okay, all right. Good afternoon, your times.
Yeah, good afternoon, bud. Good afternoon, Major.
Good day.
Good day.
Good program, man. I hear you on fire, Major. You're on fire, man.
Lift your voice a bit.
Speaking what has to be spoken to.
Yeah, man. People like that, man.
And the nonsense that we tolerate in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is totally unacceptable.
Totally unacceptable.
Are you any caller clearly, Major?
Yeah, enough, yeah.
Okay, I kind of look. Okay, maybe it's my headset.
How can these two so-called trade unionists, I call them so-called because they're not trade unionists. I know what a trade unionist is. Okay, how can these two so-called trade unionists go and accept a 1% raise on behalf of their workers? That's just, I just can't wrap my head around that. All right? That's really disgraceful. This is really disgraceful. 1%. You know? And this 1% is indicative that the government is broke. The country has no money. You understand? That's why they can only offer 1%. But here comes these two guys, so-called trade unionists, going and accept a 1% raise on behalf of their workers. According to Mr. Yusuf, a $10 raise if you're making $100. It's really unacceptable, and it's really crazy.
The $10 is a rake is $1,000.
And another thing,
you know, if you want to get a $50 raise at the 1%, you know how much money you have to be working for, man?
Yeah, I see.
$5,000.
I see.
For you to get a $50 that you could buy a cooking gas, your salary should now be $5,000.
Exactly. Now, I have another issue. There's a fellow who was on the radio sometime. I won't call his name because I know how nice program is. Nice way the program is. But I heard the fellow was calling up a bunch of our names and stuff like that on the radio. But I want that fellow to know that I know what a constitutional democracy is. I want that fellow to know. I know what good governance is. I want that fellow to know. I know what accountability is. Okay? And they can't stop us from speaking. They can't stop us. We'll continue to speak out against this regime. Because this regime is evil. This regime
He's called from the diaspora?
Yeah.
Okay.
in impoverishing our people.
Yes.
You know, our developing nation as ours, a small nation as ours. These people are selling all our land.
That's another issue we have to pay attention to.
They're selling out our land. A country that's so small that we need the land space. You know, we're not even leasing. I could understand leasing the land, but completely selling them out to foreigners, what is going to be left for our children? So when that fella talking on the radio, he must understand that all of us don't come and beg them for anything. We don't come and ask them for anything. You know? We don't do that. So we can continue to speak out because we're not afraid of them.
But this is a time for the diaspora to make his voice heard and felt in St. Vincent and the Grenadines by speaking and acting to your relatives at home and let them wise up and know what we have to be done.
And I know why they're talking, you know, because you're feeling the heat.
Well.
You're feeling the heat, and you know the handwriting is on the wall.
Oh.
This time, the ship is going down. This time, we're going to sink the Titanic ULP. This time, the ship is going under, and they're all running and scared. They're running scared. Because what? Somebody going to jail after this thing is over. Because the things that these people do, they can't live in St. Vincent. You either be in prison